All right, folks. It seems the Serbians got to us again. All right. We just
Nikola
mentioned.
Jokic's brother got to us.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. So, anyways, we were talking about Australia being the real MVPs. Or is it MVP singular? I'm not sure. I don't know how you would.
The country itself, what I think would be singular.
Yeah. So,
The
anyway.
people of Australia would be MVP. So the deciding committee who deported him would be the MVPs, and
Yeah.
then the Australia itself would be an MVP.
Yeah. So, yeah. So, Novak Djokovic, he's gone. He's it. Uh, so that's it. And it's pretty funny. It's pretty funny to see an athlete
Do
being
you
kicked
remember in
out
It's
of.
Always Sunny with Charlie and Mac are boohooing crying
Oh
when they're in
yeah,
the
yeah,
top hats?
yeah. When Dean and Dennis got hooked on crack.
Crack.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is exactly how it feels like for me.
That's great. Oh man.
Oh, you're not gonna be able to play the Australia
Yeah.
Open.
Well.
Where does Djokovic even rank anyway?
Well.
He's number one.
Yeah. Exactly.
Oh, oh,
That
you
he's
clown.
he's won. I think he does have the record for the most Grand Slams won for a male
Tied.
tennis player. He's tied with it now.
He's tied.
He's tied with it. So he.
He's tied with Federer and Nadal.
Okay, and Nadal's still playing. He's older.
So
of
is
course.
Federer, although
Oh yeah, that's right. Federer.
his knees are
Yeah, no, they're
shot.
older. They're older. So, but yeah, Djokovic is losing his shot at actually making that record, being out of being the sole owner of that record. He's banned for 3 years from Australia, so he can't go back
Oh,
for 3 years.
really?
Yeah,
Yep.
yep.
Oh,
He's not.
So it's 4 Australian Opens because you've got this one that he's missing,
Mm-hmm.
and then the 2023, 24, and 25.
Yeah, and he's 34 right now, so we're 3 years. He'll be
Last year was
37.
probably his last Australian Open.
So it's 37 when he's, unless he has I don't know, like unless he conditions like a LeBron or a Tom Brady or something like that. It's going to be difficult, and there people are even writing articles about future problems if he tries to go to France, which is French Open, which is another one of the Grand Slams.
Don't forget New York. Don't forget New York.
And New York, because Kyrie is having issues with that, so he potentially won't be able to get any more aside from Wimbledon. But that doesn't count as a Grand Slam. He needs to win all 4. So,
No. It's how many Grand Slam events he's won.
Oh, events he won. Oh, I thought he was. I thought it was like Tiger Woods when he had the Tiger Slam, or I think Serena Williams has had a Grand Slam in a single year.
It's extraordinarily rare to win all 4 in one calendar year.
Right.
It's relatively easy. He's won 20 of these.
This is how much we know about tennis. We're talking about tennis, but okay. So it's the actual event. So the Big Four. The Big Four. Mm-hmm.
You've got the Australian Open in Sydney, in Melbourne.
Mm-hmm.
You've got the U.S. Open in New York, Flushing, more specifically. You've got Wimbledon in London, and then you've got the French Open in Roland Garros. Garros.
Yep.
I am I can't believe I'm saying this, but I am the tennis expert among the 3 of us.
Yeah.
I mean, I play Wii tennis.
Yeah, we play a lot of Mario tennis. That's for sure.
Mario tennis.
You know.
Mario tennis aces, man. I know a slice.
But as you all know, Mario isn't about that. He hangs out with Rafael Nadal. Okay. They did a commercial together. Okay. That's Nadal knows what's up. Mario knows what's up. He's not going to do anything with the Parasaurolophus. Of course not. Okay. Only dinosaur he messes with is Yoshi. That's it. That's who he hangs with. And
you don't play with that.
No. And so so he's gone. He's out. He's banned for 3 years. That's funny, man. That was really funny. Oh boy. So yeah, real MVP, the country of Australia. Yeah, way to go, guys. You did it. Oh, where do we go from here? Where do we go from here?
Well, I will just add this. I really hope that Federer or Nadal wins another. And
I mean, their chances have gone up now that Djokovic is out of at least one event.
And my hope is that he doesn't, either he never wins another, that would be ideal.
That'd be fun.
Or if he does win another, he never matches, he never gets the record outright. Because fuck that guy.
Well, I mean, to give context, this is also a little bit of heat to him for lying about being positive. I don't know if he lied about being positive, but he tested positive and then still showed up, right? If I remember
Correct.
the reports correctly.
Yeah.
So that's
at a fucking photo shoot.
Yeah.
So
just because you're okay, kid, doesn't mean the person that you're going to give it to is okay with it.
yeah.
Just remember that.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, that's fun. That's a good one. And what was I gonna mention? It was in my head and it left my head, and it'll return at some point. Oh yeah, so baseball, it's not looking great. They're
Yay.
in negotiations still. Well, they finally started negotiations. That's some semi plus. And I don't know if you guys have seen some of these proposals that they've put out there.
I know that the players laughed at it.
Yeah,
That's the
so
last time I updated
MLB proposals. So I just want to see what the last one is. But of course, Major League Baseball wants to expand the postseason. They want more teams to participate because I think they've been obviously look at the NHL and the NBA, who both leagues have 16 teams participate in each. And they looked at the NFL, who have expanded their playoff. Heck, the NBA did it too, because they have the play-in for the 7 and 8 seeds. So that's gonna continue. More teams in the playoffs, more teams that can claim that they're in the playoffs, obviously. And the NHL flirted with it during the bubble back in 2020. But I don't know if they'll go back to that. I think they kind of like where they're at with that. But baseball wants to expand it, and they're preparing their next response. The Players Association are, of course, going to be focusing on things that kind of remove limitations to free agency. Players are, of course, always accusing the owners of doing things that will lessen their value or lessen the amount of money they want to spend, like the luxury tax for certain teams that spend too much. They, of course, want a minimum payroll, so basically a salary floor like in the NHL, where teams have to spend to a certain amount. I think Major League Baseball wanted to change to a draft lottery instead of a straight up tanking situation. Although teams still tank, it doesn't really matter, I think. And of course, the players have accused the owners of doing things to the baseballs over the last few years. And they've accused them of that because it seems that whenever there's a bunch of high value pitchers that are about to hit the market, they add a little more bounce and pop to the baseball. And then when there's a bunch of high value hitters that are about to hit free agency, they deaden the ball. So that's kind of what's going on right now. Of course, that's that kind of, I don't know why the owners are kind of sort of shooting themselves in the foot in a way, but of course revenues in baseball keep getting higher every year, aside from the last couple of years because of pandemic. So it would seems that the players are trying to get in on things returning to where they were, where the owners are making more money, even with less people watching baseball. But we'll see. They're gonna put out their new proposal, see what they want to say, and the owners are probably gonna scoff at it. I don't think we're getting a full season this year.
No,
honestly,
not a chance.
Because we are basically a month away from normally when pitchers and catchers report.
Yep.
And they just really started talking. Now, I of course wanted the baseball season to be shortened anyways, but I don't think anybody's gonna go for that. And of course this all comes with both teams playing hardball. Both, like, there are, I don't know if you guys have heard the stories of basically management or anybody that works technically for a Major League Baseball team cannot converse or speak to players. No coaches, no trainers, no nothing. There was a story of one guy whose brother is a player in Major League Baseball, and I think he's like a manager of a minor league team or something like that, or a coach. And they literally could not spend Christmas together because they cannot talk to each other. That's how.
I find that so fucking ridiculous. I get it's the rule, but come on.
I don't know. It's the, I don't know if it's a unwritten rule. It might be. I'm not sure. It's an unwritten rule there.
I think in theory it's just like tampering in the NBA. You just can't do it in reference. You know, if it's outside the work sphere, you should be fine.
Yeah, and I don't know enough about labor law to know what the consequences of that would be. But
it's like any other kind of litigation of, is this really the hill that you want to die on?
Yeah, conflicts of interest, things like that. So that's...
I think they were probably cracking a few brews on New Year's, but that's just me.
Yeah, so now we're getting, of course, the players are showing them, with their Instagram accounts or whatever, them working out and everything like that. And all the sites on Major League Baseball, any active players, they've removed all of their profiles from the MajorLeagueBaseball.com. So MLB.com has nothing on any players. It's all just a blank silhouette. So that's what's going down with them. It's as if they don't exist. And you'll notice if your favorite team, if you follow their Twitters, they're posting all their social media stuff. They're posting stuff that has really nothing to do with getting ready for the next season or anything like that. They're just kind of posting, hey, you guys remember when we did this, in the past? Hey, guys, we're out in the community, and that come buy the new hats. We got new hats, and come on over to buy tickets for opening day. I always find that pretty funny. I've seen this. We've seen this in hockey. We've seen this in NBA. We've seen this in NFL. I don't think the NFL has missed games in a long, long time with regards to work stoppages. The NBA did back in 2012. The NHL did back in 2012-13. And, of course, the entire 2004-05 season was gone. So we've seen it in the NHL. And, people are thinking the owners are going to threaten to completely cancel the season. And they're like, well, look what happened to the NHL. That took them a long time to kind of regain popularity after losing the entire season. They were on the Outdoor Life Network. Because everybody dropped them. Every major network dropped them after that. So, and baseball was pretty bad after the strike in '94. But if it leads to a steroid era-esque home run extravaganza like in '98, I think I'd be for it. Make every field Coors Field. I'd be down for that. That's when I fell in love with baseball. I think a lot of us did. So, I don't know. I guess we kind of said all our opinions on that stuff.
I have one about baseball. Carlos Correa hires Scott Boras to be his agent now. which totally means he's going to side with the Yankees because Boras just whores it to us all the time. And I don't think I want to pay that man big money on a prorated. Forget the cheating scandal aside and the arrogance. I don't think I want to pay anybody that big amount of money that they're going to ask in a prorated season that's shorted. And I think that's what a lot of hesitation's going to come from ownership, because they know if they're like ripping the nose to spite the face kind of mindset is that, damn, if we better hope that we lose the season to Spurs to make the players look bad, because what's going to happen is that if we are on point, we got to pay a lot of people, new monies, new revenues that'll be in effect, or we'll have to do how we did with the COVID season and inflate that payroll to a percentage of what they had. And if you're negotiating at the table, wouldn't you want more money in those first 2 years at least, instead of just kind of getting a pro rate? And I think that's what they're kind of scared of. Like, hey, don't devalue my thing. Sure, give me a $300 million contract out 10 years, for example. But those first 2 years, because I'm losing out on what my value is because of the shortened season, I need you to make that a big time first year money. And say what you will, but to prorate it from, let's say, to give an example, first year maybe will be normal 30 on a Carlos Correa contract, but let's say you're going to lose money coming into it. And if you're an agent, I would advocate the hell of it. You two would as well. It'd be like, listen, it's not our fault that why should he take less because of the season? We want at least this first year contract to go from 30 to like 35 to 40 million just for year one. That's a lot of money. It's millions, and we're so used to it because of sports, but holy crap. And I could see that being a fair argument. That's just me thinking like an agent. Maybe that's the course in life that we ought to take, right? Forget the whole doing good in the world. Let us just kind of hire us, Carlos Correa. I don't like you, but I like money, and you like money. Let's make money.
Yeah, it's in kind of to the point as far as the owners. I think these last 2 years, they've kind of seen how much money they can lose with no games and no people in attendance and things like that. And maybe it's given them kind of an idea as to whether they can make this sacrifice of losing potentially an entire season or having a completely shortened season that starts in July. I think they might be doing those numbers and be like, we lost money, but I think we could take this hit if in the long run the players bow down to some of the big things that they want. So that in a weird way, that might be the reason why they've gone with this lockout strategy right now, is they've seen the numbers of no baseball and little to no fans, and they're like, oh, we didn't lose that much, or we can take this hit for all of us collectively for one more year. They kind of have it planned out anyways like that. And I was like, okay, 2023 is when they'll go hard on reopening ballparks, whatever. I don't know. I don't know what letter in the Greek alphabet we are in COVID versions, but hopefully we're not going down far. And yeah, so that's I think that also has played into why we're at this point. Okay. All right, guys, what else do you want to talk about? I literally have nothing.
Well, since we are kind of on the topic of NFL, some news just came up that actually transcends NFL and also goes to college, which is more my area of expertise. Apparently, an inside source told The Athletic that if Jim Harbaugh is offered the Los Angeles, it's so weird calling them the Los Angeles Raiders, although not as weird as calling them the Las Vegas. No, damn it, it's the Las Vegas Raiders. Son of a bitch.
They should be the Los Angeles Raiders.
See, I can't even get the wrong city right. Yeah. They should still be in Oakland.
Or at least L.A. Jeez, at least
LA. At least L.A.
Nobody wants the Chargers there.
Fuck you, Spanos. Anyway, Jim Harbaugh, if offered the Las Vegas Raiders job, he might take it. Now, Jim Harbaugh is currently the head coach of the Michigan Wolverines, had their best season under his reign so far. They made it to the college football playoff, the top 4, where they immediately got the shit kicked out of them by the eventual champion Georgia Bulldogs. I was there for that one. And actually, as an aside, speaking of that game, which was the Orange Bowl, I finally got to wear my sweater.
Yeah.
I got a mini swag package for being media. We got a tumbler and we got a sweatshirt that says Orange Bowl playoff semifinal.
Nice.
So I finally got to wear it. Holy shit. I didn't think I'd have to wear that until be able to wear that for like a year. But anyway, that would be big. That would be big news because Harbaugh just bought himself a few more years of goodwill with up in Ann Arbor, because he's been on a perpetual hot seat for the past pretty much since like 2016.
Yeah, I mean, he took over that job, and they've had good teams. It's not like he's been awful. I mean, it's just that they could never get past Ohio State.
Right. They prior to this season, they hadn't beaten Ohio State in 10 years.
And people asked Stephen Ross, because Stephen Ross is the Miami Dolphins owner. There's a vacancy, and he is a very notable Michigan alum who's donated a lot of money to them. And he kind of sort of was like, I'm not going to be the one to take Harbaugh away from Michigan. So I don't know if his love for his college is getting in the way of that, which would be very Miami Dolphins of him to be like, yeah, there's the best head coach that's out there right now, but I'm not going to hire him because he went to my school, which benefits my team in no way whatsoever. So it's very Dolphins.
I mean, but it's not like Harbaugh's a bad coach, though. So, like, it's not as if they're clicking into a Hugh Jackson logic.
No, but I'm saying the Dolphins getting Harbaugh would probably be the best solution. Like, hey, best coaching candidate out there is this guy for an NFL team. I mean, did well in San Francisco.
But Tua is a Kaepernick-ish kind of style player, right?
Yeah, I mean, he could find, like, Harbaugh's a good coach. He's a good coach. He's done well, in Stanford and with frickin' the 49ers and now here with Michigan. He's done well everywhere he's gone. He's one of the few coaches that has had success in both the NFL and college. So, it's not like Urban Meyer.
I mean, are you really gonna be hurt by going for Harbaugh? So the answer is no. However, if anything, it's just going to kill Stephen Ross if he's over in Oakland. And then not even Oakland, I'm sorry, Las Vegas. You couldn't sell the team that didn't have anybody drunk drive or high under the influence killing somebody, and Mark Davis and his ugly ass haircut over you in Miami, where the worst thing's going to happen is maybe you might pull an Urban Meyer grind fest if you're that kind of moral people. You who survived Jed York in San Francisco and all the controversies that came between, and you were smart enough to leave, and even had more wherewithal to stay in Michigan, which was hoping for a new kind of savior that they couldn't find, Rich Rodriguez and a few other guys that were trying to place into the Michigan time frame. How would you feel as Stephen Ross? You have to hate yourself, right? To an all degree. And here's the thing, too. You couldn't get a guy who, all intents and purposes, is extremely likable in all places. Hell, he was going to go big against homeboy. I forgot his name, but the coach in Detroit. Remember when they were chest bumping? It was like, all right, I forgot his name. But
Dan Campbell?
It was no, not Dan Campbell.
Oh.
Not Dan Campbell. I'm talking about when it was... He was a defensive coordinator. I of course forget the name, but there was that controversy about shaking hands and not shaking hands aggressively, and then they're all like, puffing chest out, trying to go on each other. It's hysterical. It's going to bother me. It's going to bother me, and I will find out that name off site. But, Jim Harbaugh he's not John Harbaugh, but he's Jim Harbaugh. And here's the thing, too. Jim Harbaugh can definitely get the free agents as well. And what does Miami desperately need? free agents who actually do good free agent things. That would drive me up a wall.
Yeah. Yeah, well.
And it's unfortunate.
Yeah.
It's unfortunate if for some
Jim
reason,
Schwartz. I'm sorry, it was Jim Schwartz and the slap on the back handshake that made him lose his shit.
If for some reason Miami were to get Harbaugh, it'd be unfortunate if it would be unfortunate that you guys didn't get the number 1 overall pick, because guess who's the projected number 1 overall pick? Aiden Hutchinson, who played for Michigan this year.
Well, the Dolphins traded away their first round pick for this upcoming draft.
I know,
Yeah,
but also from what I've heard, this is one of those years where there's not a solid,
like a definitive. Hey, this is the consensus guy to pick.
Last year was Trevor Lawrence. If you didn't pick Trevor Lawrence, you would probably lose your job if you were whoever.
Jacksonville.
Well, someone did pick Trevor Lawrence and still lost it.
I forget who Jacksonville's GM is.
Just they didn't fire him, but it's Jed York, man. I think.
Oh,
I think it's Jed York who's doing it too. One of the former 49ers guys.
Hey, there's a vacancy in Jacksonville as well.
Hold on, I feel that you need to be right.
Compelled to.
No, Jed York is
it.
still. Yeah, Jed York's still in the 49ers, but it's one of the guys who used to be there. So y'all do your thing. I'm gonna go investigate my ish.
Okay, let me put Jaguars GM
Trent
here.
Balk, who was also the executive. Balky.
Oh, that's how you call him. I don't know names. To me, I feel like Balky should be EE, and then Balky, how it spells Baalke.
Oh, all right. Okay, well, so that's the Jim Harbaugh news. He's out there. I mean, whoever hires, would they have to pay Michigan anything if they hire him, or
probably. Well, wouldn't he have to technically pay it out, because he's not going school to school, unless there's a clause that says if you jump ship, you owe us this amount of money. Because there's no, I don't know of any professional teams that pay out a college buyout, right? Usually it's the individual contract, because that's your breach of contract.
Maybe, unless he has an actual clause that says, hey, if he can back out with any certain amount of years left on it, then maybe. Seems like it. And at that point, because Michigan wanted him, so he might have been able to call his shot with regards to negotiating his contract. So I would highly doubt that he would have a clause, that he wouldn't have a clause there that says I can back out of this at any point in time or whatever. Things are
as much as he could call the shots with the contract, Michigan would be insane if they would let him go
for nothing.
Well, for nothing to a college team.
Mm-hmm. The NFL is a different.
NFL is a bit
story.
Different.
He's gonna get more money. That's one thing. Mike Davis and his weird ass haircut is going to let him just kind of construct whatever roster he wants without any incentive.
The one thing working in Harbaugh's favor is that he has been in and succeeded in the NFL.
Yeah, even his final season,
which is very hard to do. He's one. It's one of the few coaches that's been able to do that, and because a lot of the times with the head coaches coming from college.
But got you Bobby Petrino and Urban Meyer.
Nick Saban wasn't even able to do it.
Well, Nick Saban wasn't
Nick went what, 1 year?
2 seasons, I think, in Miami, right?
2 seasons?
Yeah, I think like 2 seasons. I think he went 9-7 one of those years. But of course, the Dolphins are the Dolphins. They had no quarterback. Whatever. We didn't get Drew Brees. Got Dante Culpepper.
Poor Dante.
That was, I think, a lot of Dolphins fans feel that was the kind of the point in time that changed the Dolphins' trajectory. Like if they had gone with Drew Brees, the Dolphins would have been one way, but they went the other way instead. You know,
which is such a silly thing for
Yeah.
a fan base to harbor on, because here's the thing: Drew Brees, his success has been predicated really on that coach in Sean Payton. Receivers came and went: Marcus Colston, Lance Moore, all these other guys, wild players that we remember forget coming into it, and then now you have Michael Thomas. But it was really more Payton to Brees, and even if you fired, what's his name? The people that you would have fired, Saban, the people that you would have hired in between, going from Sperano, Cameron, let's say all those guys came into play, I can guarantee you the schemes and the concepts, no matter how good of a player that he is, what's going to happen is Brees in his career in Miami would have been Mark Bolger. Guarantee it.
Ooh. Damn, that's a name.
I'm just saying, because that's what happens when you
That's a
have
name.
good
Yeah,
quarterbacks who are
that's a
too
name.
late to
Did
leave.
we do a player remember forget?
We
with
did,
Mark Bolger?
because
Yeah.
we respect Mark Bolger up in my house.
I forgot. I forgot the remembered player. Okay. Damn, that's a name.
Well, I gave you a couple of them.
Yeah.
Lance
Oh, it's
Moore
funny
could
when
definitely be one of them.
when I search Trent Baalke, you see all it right there. You see Jed York, you see Shahid Khan, you see Urban Meyer all down there. Those are the people he's associated with. So, oh boy. Well, all right. What else do you guys want to talk about? Because I literally have nothing. I have nothing. I mean, we want to talk about hockey. Charles, you actually looked up hockey stuff.
I looked up stats. I want to see what my boy Brad Marchand's doing.
All right, so
Bruins,
NHL, let's go. I've had a busy week, guys, so I just at work, so I just kind of haven't been keeping track of a lot of things. And yeah, we were talking about the Panthers, and look, like I love the Panthers. I love my team, but they have problems when they're not at home. That seems to be the most glaring weakness of the Florida Panthers, is when they're at home, they are just killing it. They were destroying teams on this last homestand. Okay, they won a game 9-2 against the Blue Jackets. They just absolutely pour it on. But on the road, it's a whole different story. They lost to Calgary last night. They gave up 5 goals to them. I think it was a 5-2 score, if I'm not mistaken. So it's different on the road. It's their most glaring weakness. They're 8-1-1 in their last 10, which is great and all, but the road games have just been that's the Achilles heel of the team, is playing on the road. So the Lightning are ahead of them in the division by points, 59 over 57. Panthers have 2 games in hand. The Leafs have, holy crap, they have 5 games in hand on Tampa with 51 points. So they got a lot of games to make up. The Leafs are it's a 3-dog race right here. It's Tampa, Florida, and Toronto. Boston's bringing up the rear. They played a little bit better as of late. They're 8-2 in the last 10. They were kind of struggling there, kind of hanging on to one of the wild card spots, but they've been playing better as of late. And the Detroit Red Wings aren't too bad. They're not too shabby. They're still rebuilding. But Stevie Y is getting them back to relevancy. I think they might be able to steal a wild card spot if they can kind of put it together, because they're not far away from Boston, who holds that bottom wild card spot. All right, and then we got the Buffalo Sabres are the Buffalo Sabres. Nobody cares. The Ottawa Senators are the Ottawa Senators. Nobody cares. And Montreal Canadiens are awful. They are fighting for the top pick, or top percentage for the lottery. They are a lottery team. They are awful. They're awful. Metro Division, Carolina Hurricanes are killing it, and so are the New York Rangers and the Washington Capitals. But the Penguins are they haven't gone away. The Penguins have not gone away. It is the team just they haven't been. They just keep going. They just keep going. They're one of those teams that doesn't need to rebuild as long as they got their anchors of Crosby, basically Crosby, Malkin, those guys. But they've put together a good team. So it's the Metro Division has 4 teams vying for its division crown. So, but the New York Rangers being back is, I guess it's good for hockey. You know, they're not as. It's not like when Knicks fans are. Rangers fans are annoying as hell too, but not as bad as the Knicks fans when their team actually does good, which is very rare. All right, and then we got the Blue Jackets. They're not great. Neither are the Flyers, but they're from Philadelphia, so of course they're frauds. And the Devils, and the Islanders are not doing well at all. They've opened their new arena, and they're a dud. They're a dud this season, but they've played 32 games. Once more, I've said this before. Every time we've talked about hockey this year, this whole COVID thing has kind of, a lot of teams have not been playing games, have been playing games. The Islanders have only played 32 games this year. They played, I think they played on the road for like the first 2 months of the season because their arena was still being built, and it's been a weird season for them. But they're at 32 points in 32 games, so they're at 500, and they've got, let's say, their division, top of the division is Carolina. They've got a long way to go, but like Tampa's played 41 games, so if they can find a way to have a good streak of games, they're 7-2-1 in their last 10. So it's not. I think the Islanders have enough talent to kind of turn it around in the second half, and they have a lot of games in hand. They have a lot of games that they can. They just haven't. They're well rested, so there's a possibility they can do it. On to the West, Colorado Avalanche. I keep picking them every season to freaking win the West. They might actually do it, but every time I say so, something goes wrong in the playoffs. But they're leading the Central Division. The Blues are doing well. The Preds are doing well too, but they've lost the last 4 games. Minnesota has fallen. They were doing pretty well to start off the season, but they've let other teams pass them. Colorado had a ton of games in hand, and I said beforehand that, look, they have a ton of games in hand. They're way too talented to be down there around the 5th or 4th place in their division. Once they start actually playing games, they're going to make up for it in a big way, and look at that. They're in first place with 53 points, 36 games played, which is they still have games in hand on the other two teams below them. So and Minnesota does as well, but it's really Colorado that's taking advantage of it. And I kind of felt like that was going to happen, and it has. So, you know, my intuition has been true. And I've said this before, so you know, I should get myself a Charles Stradamus shirt on our merch store at some point, because I feel a little Charles Stradamus there with my NHL predictions there. Dallas, Winnipeg, Chicago, and the Coyotes. Coyotes are awful. They're fighting Montreal for that bottom pick, and I don't know what the heck is going to happen in Arizona. That team is awful. There's no interest. They're in the Central Division now. And
see, this is where it confuses me, because you made me learn new divisions last year.
Yeah.
When they did everything for COVID. And, you know, I'm like, all right, we're going to be invested. And I'm looking at these standings yesterday.
Yeah.
So I'm like, all right, what's that? And then what's the wild card standings? Because finally, after 3 years, I retained OTLs. I retained points. I know why that matters and everything like that. And I'm like, what the fuck? What are these 4 divisions? What the hell? 5, 6, whatever. I'm like, I'm a simpleton, man. Straight up. Unfortunately, I'm not simping for hockey yet. Give it time.
Yeah.
You can be a simp for hockey too, kids, with ESPN.
Yeah, ESPN Plus, TV. I haven't really watched much of TBS's or TNT's NHL coverage to compare it to and NHL on NBC, but I've been busy with work and stuff lately, so I'll start watching a little more lately. I've been watching Panthers games, and once again, they've been killing it at home, but on the road, it's just not good. Yeah, but the Coyotes, I don't know what's going to happen with that team. They are tailor-made to be moved to like Houston or something right now, because and I don't know what's going to happen with their arena situation, but
You would kind of wish that the Kraken were doing well.
And Phoenix the Suns have solved their arena issues because they're just going to renovate the home that they have, and that's not unless they do like a Seattle Kraken type of renovation of the old arena to make it hockey compatible. But that's probably not going to happen. Phoenix isn't going to pay for that, and the Suns don't want to share with the Coyotes anyways. So, and most likely their management group runs the arena, like most teams have. So it's not looking great. The Coyotes need to find a home because Glendale's not going to renew the lease. So, all right, Vegas Golden Knights, first place. Another team that I kind of felt like they're too good to be struggling this early on. They'll make it up eventually, and they have. The other, but the team that's surprising me are the LA Kings. How they have been able to kind of keep it there. The Pacific Division's slightly weaker than other divisions of hockey, but it's been interesting. The California teams have been revived. LA, Anaheim, and San Jose are all right there next to each other. They've all been pretty consistent with the games that they've been playing. 40, 41 games there. It's really the Canadian teams that kind of been behind with the COVID outbreaks and restrictions and that. Seattle's at the bottom of the division, expansion team. They're not good. So they're not going to recreate the magic that Vegas did in their first season. And they're just a regular expansion team. And they're just going to hope that they tank enough that they can get the top draft pick next season. So, and we're in the off season. And yeah, the Oilers have 5 games in hand. They were doing well early on in the season, but they have a 6-game losing streak. It's I don't know. Edmonton's kind of a weird team where they can be good, but they never seem to have enough to. I mean, they have Connor McJesus, and we all get that, and Leon Draisaitl. That's fine and all, but
I'm actually, when you're finished with this, I want to bring up Draisaitl.
Yeah. Okay. And yeah,
basically.
basically.
But there's not Leon Draisaitl. Do you think it was called that?
He's German, so I don't know if I'm actually pronouncing it correctly, but all right. What Leon Draisaitl? What is it, Andrew?
Look, hold on one second.
So I'm gonna look in the news. Maybe Draisaitl has a right to be pissy. I see this thing on Deadspin.
Yep.
Oh,
so,
here we go. Let me look at this.
So, and I remember the guy's name right. So, as you mentioned, Edmonton sucks.
I think they're so-so. They have a 6-game losing streak. They're so-so. They just need to kind of put it together. But the California teams are not relenting.
When you've got Connor McJesus and Leon Draisaitl, you shouldn't be so-so.
They're the Anaheim Angels of hockey.
Exactly.
Yeah,
that's a
good comparison.
Trout and Shohei Ohtani of hockey.
Yeah,
and they're meh. So a reporter named Jim Matheson in a press conference yesterday or whatever, and he's a Hockey Hall of Fame. He's in the Hockey Hall of Fame for his reporting career. Tries to bait Draisaitl by throwing his teammates or whatever under the bus for their recent woes. He didn't take the bait, and it was just I mean, admittedly, it was not a great answer. It was just your typical athlete BS, but it is what it is, and that's really the best answer you can come up with on the spot. So the reporter Matheson asked him, "Do you want to give a better statement?" He said no. Oh, here we go. So here's the. So I'm reading it off of a website because they have the transcript. So the journalist who has covered the Oilers for about 40 years asked Draisaitl if amid the team's second 6-game losing streak, he had thought the team was past getting into such slumps after the Oilers' last 2 regular seasons were quite successful. Sure,